Welcome back to the Jack of the Shadows podcast, episode 2. Nope.
What? I was like, wait, we entered a new season? In like one quarter through the book?
David had to spit out his drink.
That's probably the third spit take that has taken place in here.
Episode 2. Nope.
Welcome in. We've had 3 of these in this book, but it's episode 2. Those were the first episodes of the new.
Oh, that burns.
Oh, yeah. They sound like carbonation going down the wrong way. Welcome back to the Jack of the Shadows podcast, season 2, episode 22.
That's a lot of twos.
There weren't a lot of twos in there.
The
I wasn't wrong.
Doubling down.
Yeah.
We're doubling down.
That's right.
My nose.
I have a
Okay.
Jack
That makes sense.
and an ace.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
I've got whatever.
We're doubling down.
That yeah.
That's
you
the
double
game
down
you
on
double
11s.
down in. That's right. You double. I don't.
Oh,
know
I thought you were
how to
saying
play
that
poker.
Blackjack.
I thought you were
Blackjack.
saying Dave and I were a jack and an ace.
Oh,
No.
that'd be even better, but that's not the segue that we're going for. I've got whatever cards Matt deals with. That's what I've got.
Yeah. Eric, if you run out of ideas, you can just do different combinations of cards.
Cards, right? Yeah.
It's almost limitless. Well, obviously, there's a limit, but you could go on for a
It's
while.
almost limitless, except there are only 62, and
There's
there is a
literally
mathematical.
52,
13
first of
cards,
all.
but Yeah.
There we
Oh,
go.
it would last. I bet
A
you
long
if
time.
you did.
Yes, it would last a
I
long
think it would
time.
last a year.
It would last
probably.
long. My brain cannot figure out how
not
many
even close.
permutations of
There's a
52
lot.
cards
There's
there
just
are.
saying.
combinations. I got nothing.
I'm Eric VC, and as always, I'm joined by my favorite Lenny and George, Adam and Dave. Together, we're the VC boys, and for this episode, we read Path of Daggers, chapters 19 through 24.
Oh, I definitely let you know there are going to be some good card combos that you could name. But anyhow, go ahead.
Well, I will. You know what? I
I
will
should
do them
strike
next
go
time,
ahead
and you'll
from
have
the
forgotten
record
we
as
had
well.
this conversation and go, why are you doing card pairs?
And then we'll be
I'm
like,
wasting so much time. This is on me.
You're,
I'm
you're
just
not.
enjoying
You're not
talking
even
to you
getting the
two.
right game.
Right,
You're
exactly.
thinking it's poker and it's
Right,
blackjack.
yeah, exactly. I thought we were playing spades.
So this whole time I thought it was hearts. Right.
As we move into episode 22, we'll start with our view from Dragonmount and review the plot from our chapters, and then we'll discuss our favorite moments of the book and what shook your Willow. Next, we'll have a little fun with In the Weeds before we consider what is going on with the rebel Amerlin and Time Egwene. We'll then hash out this world's chitinous warriors and Seanchan of the dead before moving on to this
Chitinous.
epic's hero, Get Randy.
You say chitness, and I thought of the Dark Crystal.
Sure. As the norm, we will
I
wrap up
I
with our
always want to think about the Dark Crystal.
Coplin of the week and who leveled up.
And who did level up?
So
We'll
without
find out.
further ado, let's
start at the top.
Let's launch ourselves onto the top and get our view from Dragon. Who said
What are
that?
we launching ourselves
Right.
with?
We have a pike and axe and a catapult.
Slingshots.
Is sending us through
Right.
the air.
Yeah,
Rockets.
exactly. Yep. Let's strap some
Let's be
jetpacks to our
whirling
back
dervishes.
and ascend
Whirling
to the
dervishes.
top.
Whirling
Let's dervish
dervishes.
our whirls to the top of the Dragonmount and view it from there.
Sure.
Ooh,
Are you
I like
sure?
dervish
View
my
it from
world.
there. You're asking
Dervish
with the
our
question.
world, baby.
For our view
yeah.
from Dragonmount.
I think maybe.
All right,
I
so
like
we
the
begin with
dervishing
chapter
world. I really like
19,
dervishing
the
my world.
law.
So did I.
Egwene leads the Aes Sedai embassy at a fast pace back to camp. Remember
Hey, we
when
hung
last
up on
we
this,
saw
yeah.
them, they were
Exciting.
leaving back, and she wanted to get back as quickly as she could so that the sitters could not organize themselves and rebel against her.
She's going to tell. She's going to tell.
They're going to tell. She's
Been a
already
while.
told.
We find out she does tell, though.
The fast pace that they're moving back to their camp makes it hard for the sitters to converse, but Romand and Elayne still manage to bicker in a Sidar dome of silence.
What a weird.
Only Delana remains out of the bickering. Halima seems to be consoling Delana in some manner, and Halima finally seems to be affected by the cold
Don't like her.
because she wasn't before. Swan and Sheriam tell Egwene they've been unable to learn anything regarding the rumors of Aes Sedai. Remember, we heard that there were rumors of Aes Sedai and Tower Guardsmen sneaking into Andor. They haven't been able to find out anything of this.
This podcast is deafening me.
Egwene gives Sheriam some instructions for when they reach camp that shock Sheriam. Upon arriving at camp, Gareth Bryn tells Egwene she has his army's support. Sheriam then informs the camp that Egwene has called the hall to sit.
once again, I feel like Gareth Bryn is doing great things, and everyone's just kind of like, yeah, dude.
Well, he's a low key. He doesn't ask for a lot of attention, and so not a lot is given until it's really, really critical. But I don't think anybody. I don't think Egwene underestimates Dave.
Yeah.
No, but he's just there for it.
Right.
After arriving at her tent, Egwene is joined by Swan, who tells Egwene that she was told by Min that she and Gareth Bryn will die if they don't stay near each other. So this
I feel like we've heard that.
I remember that old folklore.
Times. We've heard this a couple times.
This is not new.
But it's
we
coming
might
up
have heard
again,
it once before.
A harbinger, I feel.
And Swan
coming
is
back
also
around
using
again.
as an excuse to stay close to Gareth Bryn.
This is for the people not of the sun.
Do you think that's mostly what it was, though? That she was just...
No, I don't. I think she's using it as a defense to justify her own love interest, but I think it's also true.
But they're so annoying about Egwene is a bit annoying about thinking, oh my gosh, you're just like that with a man.
You're besotted.
Yeah, she also realizes her hypocrisy. She realizes that.
Sure. Yeah, that's true.
After discussing Swan's love interest, they move on to how Egwene is to handle the evening, and apparently they've been planning this evening's conversation for some time. Sheriam enters and tells Egwene the hall is ready.
Plots.
And then asks for Egwene to let her in on her plans.
Plots within plots.
And Egwene refuses.
Too bad for you.
Sheriam concludes with letting Egwene know it is likely that she will be replaced as keeper for not informing the Hall of Egwene's plans and have to pay a penance for it.
With what we know, or what we suspect about
Sheriam?
Are any of us sad about the fact that Egwene's not cluing her in?
Right. No. At this point, don't tell Sheriam anything.
Give her nothing and she'll like it.
Yep.
Nothing.
So that she can continue to get beaten by that person that entered her tent last time.
You know, whoever that may be that we think it is.
Yes. Just before Egwene takes her seat before the hall, Delana rushes in looking flustered.
Disheveled.
And before any of the sitters can speak, Egwene announces who will stand to declare war against the usurper Elayne Doavrani Royhan. Elayne and Ramanda try to take charge of the meeting, but Egwene declares that the Tower Law of War states that this issue must be dealt with first before all others.
Not so fast!
That's right. She's pulled a Swiftie on them.
Yes.
The Brown historian Takema agrees with Egwene's declaration, though Egwene suspects that Takema is lying, which she can't do.
No, she didn't suspect she was lying. She suspects she wasn't giving all the information. Eric. She was holding back some information, which they can do. So she's giving Egwene knows she's giving her just enough information. Hopefully, she doesn't spill out the rest. Subterfuge.
So Egwene calls for a vote, and finally gets the 13 sitters she needs for the lesser consensus necessary to declare the war against Elayne.
Almost didn't.
Almost did not.
But
until she was like, no, come on, guys.
Ramanda tries to move on to her matter.
I'm sorry, ladies.
Well, right. I think wasn't it Ramanda who tried to resist? Because
yes, it was Ramanda, yeah.
Sheriam,
because she thinks she's got the goods on Elayne because of that whole
right. And Sheriam, what happens is Sheriam wants to not just have the lesser consensus, but a greater consensus, and Ramanda won't give in to that.
Yeah. What a surprise.
The greater good.
With the issue of war decided, Ramanda tries to move on to her matters, but Egwene has Takema inform the Hall that once war is declared, the Amerlin no longer has to follow the Hall, and instead the rules of war apply.
That was the other part. That was the part that she was going to go on to say, but she didn't say it at that time because she knew that was it, and she's like, wait a minute, what's happening here?
Any matters involving the war, directions are given by the Amerlin, and she then, by extension, this meeting is about the war, and therefore she's directing the meeting, right? So nobody else can raise other issues per their Robert's rules. Egwene
That's a nice power to have, huh?
It's not. It's fairly common actually amongst political groups. So yes, it is a nice power to have.
I think it also has something to do with
if you're the leader,
to keep settling that before they can move on to something else or something.
No.
Oh man, I'm worried about her.
They can deal with domestic issues, but anything involving the war, she has control over. And of course, she is going to try to insinuate just about any issue into the war so that she can have control over the issue. Egwene concludes the chapter by declaring that in 1 month, they will begin the siege of Tar Valon, which takes us to chapter 20.
I mean, that's kind of like a big bomb to drop.
Well, right. Yes.
I'm in control.
Maybe we'll see it in this book.
Yeah. Well,
Chapter 20 into Andor with the White Lion glyph. Elayne,
love to have
some Aes Sedai, the kin, sea folk, and the nobility and merchants who were retreating from the farm all follow Elayne on her way to Caemlyn. They stop off at a large 3-story manor house. Malin, a heavily complaining member of the nobility, tries to organize some sort of small rebellion amongst the group, but Rian and Elise step into the circle and easily dispel it.
Man, those two just sound like a 1-2 punch.
Yep.
They're knuckle dusters.
They are old and wise and don't tolerate fools. As they journey into the capital, Elayne stops to talk to the common folk and determine their needs as well as raise support.
They're just going in and roughing things up.
They brook no nonsense.
Yep.
Elayne discovers that many think that she and her mother are dead at the hands of the Dragon Reborn and blame the Dragon Reborn for the weather.
With all these rumors going around about her being dead, her mother being dead, why would we think that Elayne firmly believes that her mother is dead? Why believe that and not the other rumors? Like, okay, she's obviously not dead, but there's a rumor around there being. So why is she? There's rumors about
just
her being
probability.
dead. So,
the probability is that she's dead. The probability, she doesn't believe these rumors either.
Right, that's my whole point. But there's also been rumors that her mother's still alive.
Right, but that's improbable.
Has she heard those?
Is it?
Yes.
Well, that's a good question. I don't know if she's heard those.
I don't know that we've ever have. I don't think we've had an example of.
Like
I'm sure she has as well. But we haven't. I don't think we have had a specific.
We've had instances. I think it was involving Rand, where he heard rumors about Morghese. Whether
I don't know
Egwene
about her.
Or Elayne has heard that. You're right. I don't know whether she's heard that or not. But I'm just saying the way rumors are and the way rumors fly.
And she's that high up. Yep. She hears everything.
It's just interesting to me that she has no hope that her mother's alive, but she would.
Yep.
Given the circumstances in which her mother died, in which her mother disappeared, she's probably dead. You know,
true.
This
yes,
is like,
yes.
Yeah.
She's mayhaps be a one-off.
But look at Swan and Egwene, or Swan
let's look
making
at
out of the
Swan.
tower. She should have died. I'm just saying,
Yeah,
they live in a land where fantastical things happen.
Yeah, but for any single individual to rely on the fantastic is probably going to lead to heartbreak.
Yeah, it's definitely not practical.
There are some people who believe Rand will put Elayne on the Lion Throne, and she is obviously not a fan of that or anybody believing that, and she's also frustrated by the lack of support she's hearing for her cause along their journey. She learns that Mara Lilla has volunteered to be one of the first Aes Sedai to work for the Sea Folk.
That sounds miserable.
Yeah, she's just not a fan of the idea in general, and now she finds out that some woman has actually volunteered, almost like kicking off the whole plan.
Wasn't Mara Lilla the one that lost the power of the party way back when in Andor or wherever it was, Carrion or wherever, she kind of got ousted.
Yep.
So now all of a sudden she's got some purpose or agency of her
Maybe
own.
that's it. Yeah, sure. That would explain her
another
motives.
group she can gather.
Right.
Well, if that's true, she's used to being an ambassador, and now she probably sees herself as being an ambassador to the Sea Folk.
Once again.
Oh,
and
man.
not having to go back and face Egwene.
Sure.
Can't be real pleased with some of the way
that's another. She's gonna. Wow.
Well, she's wasn't involved.
She's
in the
gonna
bargain.
glow up.
No, but that's right. She was the one that sent to be the ambassador to Rand, and then it all went haywire from there. And I don't know if she's gone back and seen Egwene since then.
Yes, that's true. Yeah, she could be avoiding confrontation with Egwene.
Wow.
She also sees that Adelius and Van Dien are not having success in breaking Ispan. They tell her that the Black Aja's sister tells them all types of information about plots in which she is not involved, but nothing about her current mission or cohorts, and they're beginning to suspect she's taken an oath of secrecy against it.
An oath with an oath, yeah.
The type of oath that she can't break for death.
So are they more impressive when they're dark oaths that you can't actually break them, unlike the Aes Sedai being able to lie?
No, again, Adam, the Aes Sedai actually cannot lie. You're constantly trying to conflate. You're trying to conflate being elusive with lying, and they're not quite the same thing.
Or just not giving all of the facts.
Right. Omission is not technically lying.
I'm going to give you some of the details.
If the Aes Sedai had oaths like this, they could not be broken either.
Please let me have some of the peril. No, it's too perilous.
Do they have oaths like that? I suppose is the better question.
That's what we don't know. I mean, I think it would make sense.
Well, yes, they do. They do have oaths like that. The oaths that they've taken on the 3 oaths, the oaths they've taken on the oath rod. Along the way, Nynaeve seems to be getting frustrated with Lan's benevolence toward her and is taking it out on everyone.
Man,
it's
coming or going. She
just
unpleasant.
It's just Robert. It's just Jordan just being like, she seems pretty happy. I'm bored with it.
Let's mess with that.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like every once in a while we need to remember what are Nynaeve's redeeming qualities. I know we've had this conversation before.
Well, what I think what happens is
she loves Lan.
She's difficult to please, and so now she's the initial joy of the marriages wear off, and she's getting just normal life.
Yes, yeah,
and normal life's not always pleasant, especially in a marriage. So
that might explain her domestic situation. It doesn't like she has friends.
She lets things.
Why
just
are these people
her
friends?
Yeah, she's loyal.
What? That's it. Yes, that is the one thing that off the top of my head I would be able to come up with.
Loyalty's in short supply, so. I don't know.
I mean, yes, that's true.
And I think she's caring. She just has to get past herself a lot of the times, which is difficult to do.
Yeah, I think getting to the caring also involves listening to a lot of moaning and complaining before you get there. It's not pleasant either way.
Yes.
They have also collected 5 panniers worth of terangrial from Samael's catch.
Is that like a large picnic basket?
Geish.
They're
large wicker baskets that the horses carry that ride along that are looped over the horses.
Oh, they're the things that. Oh, right. Yeah, okay. Caches and stashes.
Egwene is testing them, and one of them is a crystal-looking blacksmith's puzzle that made her dizzy and kept her up all night. There's a helmet made of fuzzy feathers that gave everyone around her a headache, and then there was a hot rod that she channeled fire into,
that she jumped
and caused herself to act foolishly, so foolishly she got grins behind her back.
That sounds like you're hanging out at a pool club and you just hear this guy walk in and say, "Hey, have you seen Hot Rod for a while?"
Man,
well, it's also a movie with Andy Samberg in it, isn't it?
I got the hot rod out back with some panniers and wicker.
Right, exactly.
Caches of terangrial. What you got?
Geishes.
There's also the concern of their clothing. So Avienda has had to trade a few precious gems to clothe the group because it's gotten cold.
Good thing they got her around.
A feathered hat.
They got jewels and aplenty. That one.
Yeah, just to let you know, that's my who leveled up this week is the feathered hat.
We don't. Yeah, right.
That would be that. I wish it was. That would be so.
I really wish I would have held on to that. Yeah.
With the snow's arrival, Rhaenyra loses her patience and declares that it is time for the Aes Sedai to start holding up their end of the bargain.
Oh, you think that would be?
She demands that Marillilla start teaching her at once. The subjugation of Marillilla to the Seafolk begins to make the kin wonder why they should return to a life of tower discipline, and Elayne is concerned about this breakdown in the esprit de corps.
Esprit de corps.
After all, if Aes Sedai can be treated this way by another nation, why should they have respect for the Aes Sedai?
Ain't got none. Ain't got no time to have none.
16 days into their journey and over a week left to reach Camelin, Elayne and Nynaeve go to meet Egwene in the World of Dreams.
World of dreams.
They've not met with the rebel Amyrlin since informing her the Bowl of Winds has been used in the night after they left the estate. They also told her about the deal struck with the Seafolk and were harshly chastised.
Chastisity.
And now they're prepared for another tense meeting. However, all they find in the Amyrlin study in the Saladar of Dreams is a quickly carved note in wood that read, "Stay in Camelin, keep silent, and be careful."
Keep silent.
Everything.
Keep watch.
The world of dreams should be a happier place.
Right, it is a scary place. It's the world of nightmares right now.
Every time we hear, I'm going to start singing that now. It's kind of like our Fear the Dark bit. I'm going to start throwing in that.
You should. It's the best song in the world.
Egwene does not want their actions and bargain with the sea folk to complicate her attempts to gain control of the rebel hall. Egwene uses the power, so it appears the number 15 is carved into the writing desk, and this signifies the number of days it might take to reach Camelin.
Don't you feel like those are the
number
harsh,
15?
Like Egwene's like she's very curt in her message. Like I feel like she's a little cranky.
You would have liked her to have elaborated a little more.
I mean, it's the world of dreams.
You would have liked a paragraph or so.
I don't know. Just like
she needs it to be inobtrusive.
Yeah, I get it.
No,
I get it.
Explore the world of dreams a little more. Have there be more.
You mean the world of nightmares? You want them to explore the world. You just described how scary it is, and now you want them to spend more time in it, Adam.
I mean,
which way do you want it here, buddy?
I want something to be redeeming about this, rather than it just seems like they're going through the ways.
Well, I think it needs to change.
It does seem like they're going through the ways.
That's Lenny, by the way.
Yes, I know. That's what they're playing.
That's what I got that.
Nynaeve hopes aloud that Egwene isn't having trouble with her plans, and Elayne reminds her they were not to speak of these, even with each other. That takes us to chapter 21. Answering summons with the dragon glyph.
All right.
Several Ashaman, led by Char Gedwin, the self-titled Sovarin Mihail, or Storm Leader, visit Rand in his tent. Gedwin questions Rand's orders and grabs Saidin in Rand's presence, almost resulting in the Ashaman's death. Rand has orders for these men that Gedwin thinks could easily be carried out by Rand himself.
So this is Rand's glyph? That's what that glyph is?
Yeah, the dragon glyph, Luce Theron is screaming out for Rand to kill the man.
Kill him, kill him.
Theron is now constantly talking and appearing in the reflection in Rand's dreams, yes. Yep. Welcome back. Your dreams.
It's so strange. It's so strange. Yeah. Just reading this again, having him back, it's just so strange. It's just nothing same as it ever was, I suppose.
Same as it ever was.
There's also another face that appears in the reflection in Rand's dreams that both he and Theron can't quite recognize, but seems familiar, though the face is blurred.
I don't like this.
With the arrival of the Ashaman, Rand has begun to move against the Seanchan.
It does sound like, or the second one.
Rand has also sent noblemen and a noble woman in all different directions with retainers from each other's houses, and some of the men he has just broken up with mixed in. Across Ilion, and they're moving across Ilion to bring peace to the land.
Peace and good tidings.
Rand weaves a gateway to
Ilion.
Good
times. Peace and good times.
And we see that the dizziness and double visions seem to occur continuously now and are getting stronger.
Double vision.
So that's great.
Not double dribble.
Right. Double vision.
Rand is taking almost 3,000 men with him.
That doesn't seem like enough.
Well, he has men channeling in there too, though. That's a lot.
Well, yeah, true.
Gedwin and Flynn have returned from their missions, but Dashival has not yet returned from his secret one. Rand surrounds himself with a group of nobles he's chosen for his own reasons.
Yep.
He's learned there have been plots against him, and that Samardred's house Meravin had old alliances with the rebellious house Riatin in Cairhien. The runny-nosed Iliander, who led the band of rebels Rand confronted in Chapter 13, has joined Rand's army, and Rand is impressed by the man's intelligence.
Unlike
Weiramon.
Weiramon, right, yes.
Weary.
Weiramon.
I mean,
he's weary. He's making. I'm weary.
I'm weary of him. Yes.
Yes.
They encamp within view of the city of Ilion, and Old Fedwin Moor is down the road in that direction.
Old Fedwin Moor.
Rand plans to deal a major blow to the Seanchan in 3 days' time, and then he plans to arrive at Cairhien to see how negotiations fare with the sea folk. He also wants to learn what Cadsuane wants and perhaps crush the rebellion that's there. He then plans to head to Andor to speak to Nynaeve about cleansing Saidin.
There is so much
kind of a big thing.
Narishma's mission also seems to have something to do with this. Narishma then returns with a fat cylindrical object the size of a man's leg under his arms and says that the delay was because Rand had not supplied him with enough information to retrieve the object without almost getting him killed.
which Rand doesn't seem to care much about.
Narishma's meeting is so secret, Rand tells the man he will kill him if he shares his mission with anyone else.
Hey, Grumpy Rand is back.
Yeah. The next morning, they're joined by 1,000 Legion of the Dragon out of Ilion. Rand then has Dashima open a gateway to a road just east of the Nemerillian Mountains, and the man seems insulted by the task. They encamp on the Silver Road to Lugard in what many think is an effort to intercept the Seanchan. Rand is here for another reason, and his Ashaman are out gathering lords and ladies who have plotted against him or supported his enemies to join him along with their retainers. They also bring Davram Bashir and 1,000 soldiers.
No, we got 4,000. All right. Our numbers are increasing.
What were you saying, Adam?
Bashir?
Rand informs Bashir these people and his army are there to guard the Ashaman while they battle. And the chapter ends with Bashir and Lews Therin laughing with glee at the plan. Chapter 22, Gathering Clouds with the Adam glyph.
It's a deadly stew.
As mud sucks at the feet of the 6,000 men, Rand is arranged near the feet of the Nemerillian Mountains.
Oh, I liked that, though, Eric. Do it again.
Of the Nemerillian Mountains in sparse rain.
Mud sucks at the feet. I liked it.
Yes. Rand is holding on to Saidin more often now to avoid the symptoms that accompany embracing it.
That normally
that describes my feelings about Rand aptly. Rand has Dashiva's delivery attached to his saddle now, and when he pats it, Saidin gives him a feeling of anticipation and fear.
Fear and anticipation.
They're preparing to face the Seanchan, and the nobles complain that their numbers are too small.
Our numbers are dwindling.
Rand feels the Ashaman are more than enough by themselves, and he thinks he might even have done all of this by himself.
Oh, boy, that does definitely not bode well.
Among the nobles complaining about Rand's battle plans for facing the Seanchan are Lady Eilil and High Lady Aniella.
Oh, those two, right.
They argue that they know nothing of battles and that they have heard Rand is protective of women.
And they simper.
And this last comment causes Rand to lose his hold on Saidin.
That's what does it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
those two
crazy.
He does a spit take.
Well,
it's almost like someone says something and he launches his seltzer out of his nose.
Yes.
Exactly.
Rand commands begin, and the Ashaman open a gateway to different locations in a valley of the Vanir Mountains of Altara. They're searching for the Seanchan.
The Vanir.
Rand looks around and notices some of the Ashaman staring at him while Dashiva talks to himself, and Narishma gives him the side eye. He then wonders if he is getting what Nynaeve called the dreads or paranoia, and heals Tidai Shar through a gateway with Dashiva and Narishma staring after him.
Yeah, what the heck? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, he's not supposed to be the first person through the gateway, but there he goes because he's paranoid. Rand and Bashir realize the Seanchan are nowhere around them, and a lone archer appears and looses an arrow at Rand.
Whip. That was my loosing of it.
Yeah, that was good.
That was a pretty good arrow.
Rand fights the colors, dizziness, and double vision to clutch Saidin, but it's too late. He's only spared by a covey of quail taking flight and causing the archer to flinch.
Say that 10
just
times
enough
fast.
that the arrow merely passes near his neck.
Of quail.
That was very slow and far more impressive.
Directly from far more terrifying for sure.
Well, that's kind of like the stew line I said was what Bashir said at the end of the other chapter, and you've got the covey of quails. So
Rand kills the man with fireballs, and a search of him reveals the man to be Egan Padros, the archer that he had so much respect for.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
Obviously, the answer here is you can't trust snot-nosed people.
Right.
People
with allergies or propensity for
screw them.
The common cold.
They're no good.
Manal Rashid.
I gotta keep them. I gotta keep my children out of these people's ways.
Yes, you do.
Keep them at arm's length, Adam.
Yep.
Well,
Peril.
Oh, I gotta keep them at arm's length.
Right.
Your children, yes. Yes. Otherwise, you might slaughter them out of disgust if they're running nose.
Struck by the errant arrow.
At this point, I'm like, slobber it all over me. Let's get this onto me.
That's on you then.
And
Manel Rochade rips a leather pouch from the would-be assassin and dumps Tarval and coins onto the ground. He presumes it's an Aes Sedai plot until Bashir says there is plenty of Aes Sedai coin in men's pockets.
Dude, I got 20 of those in my satchel.
Yeah, there's so much wealth around these parts.
I mean, they are with Rand.
Well, it's in a few. It's in a very small number of hands.
The proud, and the privileged.
There's a lot of wealth, but it's not in everybody's hands.
I mean, Rand's dishing it out. He's giving it to his underlings.
A little way up the road, a Shienaran appears through a gateway indicating some Seanchan have been found, and Rand heads into the gateway, leaving the assassin's corpse to rot in the open air.
Screw that guy. He's snot-nosed anyhow.
We then shift point of view to Bakun, whose thoughts give us insight into the Seanchan preparations for the return.
The Halil, or whatever it's called.
The Halima.
Halima, no, she's back with Egwene.
Right. The Hylena, I think that's it. They've been building ships and preparing for this war for 2 generations. So, it's a big deal.
Building ships takes a while.
But Rand's not concerned.
The Seanchan is, what would
he seems to never be concerned.
What of how these chapters end would lead you to believe that Rand is not concerned?
That he's only taking 3,000 people in to meet the Seanchan.
Right, okay. The Seanchan is using Tarabana Lancers for patrols, and the Tarabanners making up over half of his command. So he's a little concerned about that.
Yeah.
He approaches a Suldam and her Damane, who appears shaken. It seems that back in Ibu Dar, something has happened, making all the Damane sick and useless, and we know that that's Elayne's unweaving.
What is... What?
Remember when Elayne unwove when Elayne tried to unweave the gateway and there was that huge explosion? Mm-hmm. There was something that affected everybody there.
I don't think that's what this is whatsoever.
Well,
because it's way far away from that,
right.
And it's gonna affect the men as well.
Right, it's going to affect the men as well. But remember that the Ashaman who traveled there to where the unweaving occurred also noticed that
they shouldn't be able to pick it up because it's a different form of the power. I think we're dealing with something else entirely, and I'm quite concerned about what this something else is. I didn't even think about
that.
Well,
yeah, I thought it was something.
If we're dealing with something else entirely, it seems conspicuously timed with Egwene's unweaving of the gateway.
I think it's just location.
Denmark.
No, it's the same time too, because all of this goes back to the same time.
They've not been in this location.
But it started happening at the same time, and they were just outside Ibu Dar when it happened.
Okay. I'm
just listing facts.
Sure.
That's all.
I hadn't thought about that.
That's the reason why I believe these things are linked.
No.
So maybe I shouldn't have said we know. I suspect. How about that?
It's a fair statement.
For the reasons that I listed. A message arrives by Rakan, and Bakun goes to his tent to read that an army 5 or 6 times deep his numbers is 10 miles to the east.
So he must not have a lot of people.
Well, he's a patrol. He's not really an army. I mean, he still has significant numbers, but not nearly the numbers that Rand is bringing. He can't imagine how they've arrived unnoticed, but sends off a message for reinforcements. He believes that if the army heads straight for him, it will arrive 3 days before any reinforcements can. Little does he know.
Right.
He orders the camp struck and moves his command to the forested slopes of the mountain.
Blink, blink, blink. That's Rand's troops.
Which takes us to chapter 23, Fog of War, Storm of Battle. With the Seanchan
Great movie.
It's a well-known classic.
It's an expression. The chapter opens as Rand stares down at a dead Seanchan soldier just after a battle with the people. The clash with the Seanchan begun with a charge of Tarabannr cavalry, and in the clash, Nyla's master of horses died, and now, strangely to Rand's eyes, she keeps close to Wyramon.
What's going to happen to all the horses?
Oh, boy.
Rand also wonders how Wyramon's coat has stayed pristine in the battle.
He's a ponce.
Another of Min's prophecies have come true with the death of Arakom and in this conflict.
We've lost a guy that's been with us for quite some time. Annoying, but with us for quite some time.
Yes. As many of these Tyron have.
He's setting them up for death. Flynn, but we knew that was going to happen.
Yes, well, that's why he's brought some of them here.
And Min had foreseen that he was going to die. So.
Flynn, Adley, Moore, and Hopwell have all suffered injuries.
Flynn.
They had come upon Bakun
Flynn
and his army on the hill out of the gateways, but didn't seem to catch them totally by surprise. Rand has lost almost 50 men, some of them Ashaman, and taken about 100 prisoners. And one of the prisoners is the Suldam Nerith, who Rand says he will turn over to the Aes Sedai. Upon hearing
and
this,
she goes
Nerith
crazy.
throws a fit.
Right.
Yep.
As they try to corral Nerith, an Ashaman soldier, Veril Nensen, arrives and tells Rand he has found more Seanchan about 30 miles west without any Suldam. And then we cut to Furyk Karede, a member of the Death Watch Guard, overlooking the last 2,300 of his men as they move through the Vanir Mountain Pass.
Was anyone else just... I felt like it was a sudden break moment in reading this book, just joining this gentleman.
Oh,
well, remember, we cut to Bakun.
Right, so
yeah,
we're getting more Seanchan viewpoint as we go along, which
I know it's crazy.
I don't like.
I don't feel good about it.
No, I don't. I don't like hearing more about them. That means we're going to hear more about them, and I don't like hearing about them.
Well, yeah,
because we're going to hear more about them. I'm going to keep saying.
Well, yeah, because Matt's going to get dribbled in there like a little nice pepper.
I know. That spicy. What is it? Where the spice peppers from wherever they're from, that they trade. That's his soon-to-be wife.
Right.
Oh,
she's one of those spice peppers. I want to say Icelandic, but that's not right. It's wherever they're from in this world.
Karede only has 200 Seanchan soldiers left.
That's it. Wow.
He has more soldiers, but only 200 of them are Seanchan.
Oh.
Yep.
He has about 12 Suldam, but only 2 Damane. He's been sent to inspect the outposts, which is why he's here, and then been given command of the army.
Why does he have so many Suldam and only 2 Damane?
Some of them have probably been killed.
They're puking.
We're noticing that they didn't bring some of the people feel they didn't bring as many Damane over as maybe they should have. They are suddenly set upon with the ground exploding around them, lightning crashing down from the sky, and men exploding in their saddles. And Karede orders them to rally the men in retreat and sends one of his men east to report.
Well, at least
and an old mother dies.
Oh, mother Hubbard.
Right. We cut to Rand, who looks into the battle in the valley from a ridge in the mountain. He's with Flynn and Dashiva. It's been 5 days since Rand started fighting the Seanchan in the mountain valley, and Lews Therin has disappeared again.
Oh, boy.
When Nalam appears with a Suldam, we get more evidence that the power seems strange in this area. Rand has captured 23 Suldam and 2 Damane.
Rand also was like, oh, no. It's not. You're just getting used to this. I've been doing it longer than you.
It's been 5 days since Rand started fighting the Seanchan. Oh, I said that.
Dave, can you slap yourself in the face for singing that song, please? Oh, my goodness.
It fit.
Oh,
yeah, it did.
That's going to be with me for the next week.
Rand has had more casualties than he expected. He's lost 31 defenders, 46 companions, more than 200 legion men and noble armsmen, 7 of his soldiers, and 1 dedicated.
I wonder how much death he's caused, though, in return.
Tons.
I wish I knew what those tons were.
Way more than this. I mean, hundreds upon hundreds, if not thousands upon thousands.
Thousands, yeah.
Another battle is marked in the valley by eruptions of fire.
But it's another one of those things.
Flynn and
it's another one
of
those things, Dave. That this is just really quick information. That's laid upon us. Yeah. All this stuff is happening.
No. This battle goes on for almost a full chapter, so this is not one of those things. I mean,
you're right. This does last longer.
I just find it interesting that we get these statistics. And we don't get the other side.
Well, no, we do. Remember, I told you that Furyk only had
I don't think those
a couple
are the only
of hundred Seanchan left, and there are numbers of the Seanchan. We get a rough idea of how many Seanchan each of these men, Furyk and the other guy,
I think those
had
are
out
2
on
patrols. I'm wondering. I'm sure there's
Rand
probably
Rand is
more.
absolutely battling more. Furyk is now the commander, so he's leading the armies other than just the small army or the army that he has in his immediate vicinity also. So those things are getting wiped out as well. Rand and the Ashaman destroy a huge number of the Seanchan here. Rand realizes that this plan of attacking the Seanchan mountain outpost, however, was probably a bad one because of his losses. Suddenly, Rand has a bout with the One Power as he's shot through the arm with an arrow.
Oh, boy.
Oof.
Seanchan warriors are coming from the north where Wyramon's division stood guard. Rand is in
good for nothing, lout.
Rand is immobile on the ground, and Aelil and Anayela come to his side, discussing fleeing his dead body. Each flashes a knife, though neither has the time to use it on him before Bashir and Gregor and Pinar appear and drive the Seanchan back. Fedwin Moore is brought to heal Rand.
I kind of like that guy.
Wyramon appears with the excuse that he had charged at some Seanchan unaware that
popping up.
Yeah.
That this other company could come from his back.
Wyramon
appears with the excuse that he had charged at some Seanchan unaware that this other army would have appeared from their rear. Gedwin then appears to tell Rand that there are 3 more columns of Seanchan within 10 miles. Bashir follows with the fact that they are all fleeing Ibu Dar. So the Seanchan are fleeing Ibu Dar.
That's a victory.
Why? But why?
Because Rand
just wiped out a whole lot of them.
Yeah.
Bashir insists the campaign has succeeded, which this would seem to indicate, and finished, while Wyramon and others encourage Rand to capture Ibu Dar.
Yeah, let's listen to those idiots.
Rand thinks that capturing the city would be a bold and unexpected move as the chapter closes.
It's time for another good decision, bad decision moment.
Yeah. Rand with the good decision, bad decision.
Which takes us to chapter 24, A Time for Iron with the dragon glyph.
I'm tired of it.
Here we go. As the chapter begins, we're introduced to the different regiments, domestic and foreign, of the Seanchan army in Ibu Dar before entering the command tent.
Oh, here's our next number, by the way.
Captain General Kenmar Mirage overlooks a large map decorated with troops and enemy locations. Mirage estimates 90,000 enemy troops in the mountains, but there are many miles between each of the enemy armies and even more between himself and them. His army is vastly outnumbered, but he has time given the distance of the enemy. The High Lady Suroth enters, who we know is a dark friend from the Great Hunt. She has Liandrin as property, and her Damane is also an Aes Sedai.
I'd completely forgotten that she was a dark friend. It's been so long.
It's been a while. It's been years, actually. Mirage is surprised to see...
Yes. You know what? It's been since my son's been about 2, I feel.
It might have been before that. Actually, it might have been before the birth of your son. Mirage is surprised to see that her voice, Alwyn, has been allowed to stay Suldam to a Dakoval. It seems that under Suroth, the Hyena has achieved more than the simple scouting party they were supposed to be. So,
did you say to a Taco Bell?
Yep.
Oh,
we talk about that a lot here.
I wonder if she got the Nacho Bel Grande.
Suroth then asks if he is ready to. Suroth then asks if he's ready to march.
I don't even know if they make that anymore.
And when Mirage indicates he has time before the enemy arrives, Suroth informs him that they could arrive today through traveling.
So how does she know about traveling? Well, because she's a dark friend.
Right, and she has the chief dark friend as her Dakoval or property now. Liandrin?
Well, that girl hasn't been around in a minute. And back then, I don't
She's
even think she even knew
probably getting
about
information from other sources.
Yeah. So you think Liandrin's still in touch
She's a vampire.
with other sources? I think she's cast out.
Maybe, but I mean, these are 2 dark friends. So between the 2 of them, somebody's going to have a good
They got
source
their
of
own
info.
publication. They have their own.
So that's right. The Dark Friend Gazette.
Do we know, or do we have any... Do we know that Suroth knows Liandrin was a dark friend?
Yes.
How?
Remember, they were working with each other. Liandrin brought Elayne and Egwene and Nynaeve to Suroth.
Okay, right, yeah. Okay.
So they was plotting.
And then it fell through, and that's why she's made the servant.
That's right.
Servant.
Suroth seems to have sources that have given her an accurate idea of what Rand's numbers are. So we were just talking about where Suroth is getting information from. I mean, she knows the size of Rand's army. So yeah, she has spies in addition to, possibly getting information from some Forsaken.
They always have their fingers in the dough.
I'm curious how she knows this. I think there's a traitor in Rand's tents.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes,
they always got those fingers in the
I
dough.
would guarantee it. Rand is probably sure there's one as well. We then get an idea of the Seanchan prophecy of the dragon delivered to the nation by Luther Pendrag. This prophecy had the dragon reborn serving the crystal throne. How convenient for them, which we now know as the throne of Seanchan.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's actually made of crystal.
It feels like most of these other prophecies, while they serve the nations that they're part of, they're vague enough that people within them still go, maybe this is true, maybe not. All the Seanchan prophecy seems simply to serve their own end. It's not. It's just propaganda.
Sure. They seem to be doing well for themselves.
Right. Well, until this disastrous encounter. Just
hopefully.
Remember, they've been living in what they feel like is a foreign land and are coming back to take their land. So they've essentially been exiled for, centuries. So I'm not sure that's doing great. And then they come back and they keep getting thwarted. So I'm not sure how great they're really doing, but they will tell you they're doing splendidly.
Right.
Mirage expects Rand to be bundled off to Shandar to serve the Empress while they round out and kill all of the Ashaman. Correct. Mirage wonders if the Damane are still sick and of any use to the battle the Ashaman, when Suroth then tells him that he will have the Damane he needs to wipe the Ashaman off the face of the earth.
I'm not so confident in that statement.
Good luck, Suroth.
No kidding.
Right.
Yeah.
We then join Rand.
Good luck.
6 days after the start of this war with the Seanchan.
Shut up.
He overlooks some olive groves of Ibu Dar on a rare sunny day.
And
the
folks were hiding
cold.
out in the olive groves. That's the great.
Well, that's what's been going on. The armies are hiding out in there. They're being disguised by them.
It's just familiar to me.
Yes,
I know what these things look like. Yeah.
Since the incident on the mountain overlook, Aelil and Anayela have stayed close to Rand, even moving their tents close to his. Rand speaks to the troops and tells them there has been no sighting of Damane, and they are to stick to the plan of using 5 columns to attack the Seanchan from all directions simultaneously. And then Lews Therin begins moaning in Rand's head that something feels wrong, and then he disappears.
I mean, let's not listen to anybody.
Give me a break.
Let's not listen to any warning sign. Nothing bad could happen.
As the different divisions prepare to move, Dashiva emerges from his normal fog, approaches Rand, and covers himself and Rand in a barrier against eavesdropping before telling him cogently something is odd with Saidin. He even grows angrier with Rand when the Dragon Reborn ignores his observation.
If this isn't a warning sign, you got the Looney Tune guy all of a sudden is perfectly sane, telling you, dude, something's wrong. We're fine. We'll be fine.
Yeah, and he's saying,
something's weird about this guy.
This is where he was saying.
A lot is weird about this guy.
Not Rand.
Sorry, I was wrong before. Rand. This is where Rand was saying to him, "Oh no, you. I've been doing it longer than you.
I've been doing this longer than you.
Yep.
You're just getting used to it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Factually correct.
Meanwhile,
stupider
you're right.
Stupider.
Oh, sorry.
The news,
yes, actually, factually correct.
Functionally stupid.
So finally, Rand notices how strange Saidin is acting, but he commands Dashiva to go back to his place.
Yeah. Away with you.
Nalam then appears to tell Rand that the Seanchan are closer and marching east with many Suldam and Damane.
Here we go.
The news changes nothing for Rand, and he proceeds with his plan.
This battle sounds like it's a great idea.
We rejoin Mirage and his regiment, who he hopes is about to catch Rand by surprise from the west. Suroth has ordered the rock and grounded for fear of losing any more of them. And Mirage is marching with only information from forward scouts. He marches with Aldaldar Yulan, his cap. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I know that wasn't right.
You've been naming some names. Yeah, and you've been doing well.
Habaldar Yulan. Rolling names. I don't think that's actually how they say these names, but it's the way I want to say them.
Well, you can say them however. That's the beauty of this.
Any.
You read the book, and
he's got a lot of peoples with him.
Habaldar Ding Dong.
Habaldar Ding Dong.
Abelgade Ricktalk.
Right. Mott the Hoople is with them.
Oh, nice.
Oh, goodness. Can you name a song by them?
All the young dudes.
That you might have just made that up for all I know.
Oh, that's it. That's a good song, though.
Yeah, it's their shining moment. He marches with Abaldar Yulan, his captain of the air, and Lisanne Jarath, and they bring 20 Damane with them, who seem agitated.
I thought he had 50 Damane.
Nope, they have 20 Damane with them. There may be 50 Damane in total, but they have 20. From his scout, under Lieutenant Merrick, he learns that Rand's 5 columns are headed straight for him, and he prepares for an attempted envelopment by Rand's army.
Clippity-clop, clippity-clop, clippity-clop.
We cut to Bertram and Elayne, her captain, glaring at Wyramon's back. He moves up to speak to the arrogant lord, who is in a heated argument with Egwene about a command Wyramon says he will only obey if given directly by Rand. Upon returning to Bertram, Wyramon needles him with the death of his cousin Colavir. And before he can redress Wyramon's insult, one of the armsmen arrives and informs them that 2,000 Terabonners approach them with Damane. And moments later, the attack is on.
Oh, the heat is on.
So we join Varric, who is in the forested hills. He watches a dozen Altaran lancers appear in a clearing, only to fall to the crossbow bolts of Rand's footmen. He's already seen an Ashaman take out 100 Terabonner footmen and 100 Terabonner lancers. And he's looking for Banner General Xian Mai, to whom he carries an important message. He finds the general dead, and it seems their Damane couldn't control Saidar, and her lightning fell on their opponents as well as their own men.
Oops.
Varric tells them he's taking command, and they are to disengage and turn south. He tells the Sul'dam they will probably be depending on the Damane to the south, and the woman goes white.
Yeah.
Which takes us to Bashir.
That's strange.
The power's not doing well.
I mean, it's not strange. Yeah. They're terrified because whenever they can't control it. They cannot control the power in this area. Bashir sights his horse and is looking at the dangerous valley in front of him, and he's trying to decide whether to cross the valley or go around it. He's lost half of his force, and it seems his Ashaman are growing hesitant for reasons we just discussed. And next, we pick up Rand, who sits on Tidai Shar in the light rain, as he anticipates the heavier rain to come. Adley and the Ashaman at his feet are frustrated because he too has had an incident with the power. So the Ashaman are having problems with the power as well. Anayela asks him if it is done, and Rand tells her he intends to push the Seanchan into the sea.
He
can't afford to be fighting yet another enemy moving forward. He does have a point. If he has an opportunity to get rid of him now, he needs to try it, because otherwise this would be a third enemy he would have to continuously worry about.
Who are the first and the second?
The Forsaken and the Shido.
The Shido are scattered, though.
Well,
he doesn't.
They can always be gathered.
Right. Bashir appears to tell Rand that they should wrap up. The Saldaean has lost 500 men, and he guesses that Samaradrid, Gregorin, and Wyramen have fared about the same, and he sent for those men to join them.
Don't listen to this wise guy.
Rand tells Bashir he should not have recalled the other captains from the field, and that as long as he is alive, he is enough to defeat the Seanchan.
Oh, boy.
He tells Bashir they will fall once again on the Seanchan general, but Bashir urges restraint as the commander has demonstrated tactical brilliance and has now consolidated his forces and is waiting for them. Rand yells, "Nobody stands nose to nose with the Dragon Reborn," and unwraps the package Dashiva has brought him. It's Kalendor. Whispering, "I am the storm," Rand raises Kalendor and rains lightning and destruction down on the wooded hills that hide the Seanchan.
I'm going to say, I did not predict this happening.
You did not predict that Rand would be knocked down and think the Seanchan are fighting back. He screams, "I am the storm," and channels more destruction as lightning falls around him. And once more, he's knocked to the ground, and he realizes it's Bashir who has knocked him over. The general tells him, "You're killing us!" And Rand realizes the lightning hitting them is coming from him. And let's go of Saidin.
Oh, boy.
Not a good end.
And as Rand looks around, he sees the lightning has killed Conan Adley, and there are more of his army screaming behind the hill. He tells Bashir they are to travel to their carts as soon as Gregorin and the others arrive, and Rand thinks to himself that he is lost. The chapter concludes with Abaldar Yulin devastated by the defeat, and he orders the Seanchan retreat as he stares at a dead mirage. That's a statement, isn't it? What is a dead mirage?
Yeah.
That guy.
So, Dave, what shook your Willow?
My Willow was much more lighthearted than all that. My Willow was what on earth it was that happened to Elayne when she did whatever she did with that ter'angreal or
the hot rod.
And like she got embarrassed or lost her clothes or who knows what happened. Like something really strange happened that everyone found amusing, but we don't find out what it is. And I want to know what it was.
It's wild. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
I want to know. I want to know what this bit of humor is, but no.
No one's going to tell her.
No, I don't get that little bit of information, but I sure wish I had it because
I imagine that she was just walking around singing and dancing.
Yeah.
That could be it.
I mean, maybe
body tunes.
I don't know. I mean, that seems normal, walking around singing and dancing.
For the Amerlin seat?
So anyhow, that's my Willow. I wish I want the rest of this comical story. Like because we've gotten other crazy examples of them being drunk and the crazy things they do when they're hammered. So I wish we just kind of gotten this whatever this was that happened. That's how my Willow was shooketh.
It's great. Oh. He said it. That's great.
I had to.
Mine was the moment that Elayne pulled the belt knife on Rand.
Mm-hmm.
Like there is a suggestion there that she really has the temerity to actually kill him there at that moment.
Maybe she's gonna shiv the shank.
I mean, it's possible she wasn't. Yeah. Nobody's quite sure because no one else is around. The only person is Rand, and he's not certain. So. It'll be interesting to see how long for this world she is.
Yeah, well, I don't think we've gotten any min foretellings on her, so I don't know.
No.
True. She might last for a while.
Right. She might
for
hang
another
in there.
4 books.
We know he won't do anything.
Adam, what was yours?
There was mention that there are Ogier gardens for the Seanchan.
The gardeners, yeah. Not gardens, what? The gardeners.
The gardeners, yeah.
Yeah.
That's insane to me. I never thought that. I suppose I should have thought that.
Why would you have?
I don't know.
You wouldn't have. Like, I was surprised.
That shocked me as well.
Who are these guys?
How could Ogier stand to live amongst this warlike people?
Yeah, are they invading?
I have a feeling these Ogier are different.
Are they invading their like woodland? Or do they have?
Well, remember the Ogier also used to work with stone and stuff too. So
sure.
So maybe they're stone masons, tree masons, whatever they're doing. But remember, they're also. I mean, Loyal mentions about them being fierce warriors, and we've seen Loyal throwing down. So
yeah,
maybe that's what they are in their society. I don't know.
I'm concerned about them.
Yeah,
I hope that they're treated well.
I don't like the sound of this. They got giant beasts. They got flying things. Suldam Demani, and now they got Ogier. Yeah. Great. That's wonderful.
I think it's pretty great. I never would have thought that this would be something, but it makes sense.
You think it's great?
No. I don't think it's good.
Fascinating.
I think it's great that this is a subject that is brought up in this storyline. It's gonna be
gotcha.
It's gonna be problematic.
Yes, agree. I don't.
Do you think that Loyal's fiance has relatives that are part of these folks?
No, I don't think any of these people have relatives. I mean,
they've been gone a long time.
They live hundreds of years, so I suppose it's possible, but I don't. Yeah, we barely get a mention here,
and I hope we don't get another one.
Which takes us to In the Weeds. So in chapter 20, while they're on the road, Elayne and company go through a number of different inns. There are a bunch of different inns here. So at first I thought I would.
We used to keep track of.
I would see if you guys could name all of the inns.
Then
I realized that would be ridiculously unfair.
I wish we did.
I couldn't even name you one of the inns.
No. So instead, we're going to play a little game.
The Queen's Boulevard.
And this will be a determination of two things: your ability to identify Jordan's naming schemes for these inns, and my ability to fake one of them.
You're talking to a guy with permanent short-term memory damage and one who's losing his memory.
So
this is not going to go well.
I love this.
I'm going to name off
Oh boy.
1, 2, 3, 4,
I've
5.
not yet
5
begun
ins.
to defile myself.
And one of them is fake.
Okay, yeah.
All right.
All right. So
Bring
you
the
have to
noise,
identify
bring
the
the
fake
funk.
one. So the ins were the golden sheaves, the wild boar, the farmer's hound, the white swan, and the new plow.
What was the first one?
The golden sheaves.
Like shearing sheaves?
I don't know.
Well, you're the one
I
that's telling us the
think
names.
that
Can you
Eric
give me
made up the
spellings?
wild boar.
Can you give me a
I think
spelling?
Eric made up the wild boar.
Sheaves.
Yeah, sheaves. Okay, like sheaves. Yeah, okay.
Dave, I think he made up wild boar.
All right. I need to hear them all one more time.
The golden
Can you say them in
sheaves,
Latin?
the wild boar, the farmer's hound, the white swan, and the new plow.
I feel like the new plow, Adam. There's something about that doesn't strike me right, but I'm probably dead wrong.
Well,
we can each pick our
I'll go
own.
with you.
Sure, yeah, you can each pick your own.
Yeah, I'm going with
I
the
pick-
plow.
Yeah, I'm picking not the plow.
That was not an in name.
Yeah, wild boar.
He's picking the boar.
I win!
Oh, okay. So what was it actually? The sheaves?
I made up the farmer's hound.
The farmer's. It's not a bad one to make up.
Farmer's hound is nice.
It's not to be confused with the fox and the hound.
Not at all.
I like that.
All right.
Time and time.
We don't know
Egwene.
our ins, Adam. We are fired.
It's a.
Oh, yeah. No,
I
don't.
It's a tricky.
I
little
feel
thing.
like you now need to compile
That's
a
why
list
we
of
brought
all
it. That's
the
why I
ins that
brought
we've
it up
ever seen.
originally.
All the ins we've ever seen.
Oh boy. Yeah, I know.
There's
I
been
thought
some
it was a beautiful
fantastic
journey.
ones.
Oh,
including the
there are
farmer's
some
hound.
great ones. There are some really, really
It's
good ones.
amazing.
The Wandering Woman is the only one I remember.
Well, no,
No,
the
there was
King's
one.
Man.
The
No,
King's
there
Man,
was.
right.
Yeah.
So,
No, there was one that was controversial.
So yes, but I don't.
Yeah.
We
Hoe
don't
in the
know the
Morning?
title of it.
It doesn't matter.
All they saw was the sign. Yeah,
I think it was
doesn't
called
matter.
The Hoe in the Morning.
All right, time Egwene. So in chapter 19, Swan
Walk of
mentioned
Regret.
to Egwene that in chapter 16 she was concerned about the youth of the sitters. Remember
Yeah,
this? And then
yeah.
Egwene has this observation in chapter 19.
And she's still not sure.
Strange that so much among the sitters depended on age, when distinction by age was next to anathema among the rest of the Aes Sedai. Could Swan have seen a pattern in the sitter's age?
Once upon a time, she might have been right.
Dave,
So-
you have nothing about him saying anathema?
I mean,
No, I didn't say that. That's from the book.
I like
That
the
was a
band.
quotation.
Okay, never mind.
I mean, I did say it, but I was
What do you mean I
quoting the
didn't
book.
Say that.
So Egwene is starting to become concerned about the age of her
Maybe
sitters
there's
now, too.
something going on there.
Well, there
Yep.
definitely is
Yeah.
something going on because they are
I wonder if they
their
think they're going to.
youth is going to allow them to be manipulated.
Well, I wonder if they think that if those sitters are controlled by Elayne or Amanda, if they think they can stick someone young to Egwene because Egwene's young, and therefore by proxy she'll, sidle up, or what they'll sidle up to somebody their same age range. I don't know.
I think it's
is
just as simple as
starting to
Romanda and
change
Elayne would like to
the-
manipulate these women, and if
Yep.
they're younger, they can do it.
But not
Yep.
so Egwene.
Well, they thought they
Well,
could,
Yeah, they
right?
thought
And they
wrong.
were wrong.
They ran into a power greater than their
turn
own,
into a force of nature.
which is amazing because she's not Taviran, and yet she's like a force of nature nonetheless.
When thinking about how Egwene donned the striped stole and berated them for poorly handling the bargain with the sea folk, Elayne realized that the Queen of Andor, which she hopes to be one day, will still be an Aes Sedai and subject to the rule of the Amerlin, which is Egwene. Is that going to be great for the people of Andor?
Is that going to be great for Elayne?
None of it sounds great.
I mean, it might be okay for Elayne because she's still friends with the Amerlin, but is Elayne?
They've had their issues.
Remember that
in
there
the
were-
past.
Yeah, you think that there's a problem amongst their friendship?
I'm sure something will show up
No,
at one point. Yes, absolutely.
You think you see a rift coming between these two,
Yes,
Egwene and Elayne, or Egwene and Nynaeve,
Yes.
or which ones are we talking about?
Egwene and Elayne.
Egwene and Elayne.
Okay,
Yes,
then that would be
absolutely.
a huge problem for sure.
I
Yes.
don't see a problem.
Yeah.
Well, the
I
only
don't know
problem
what
I
you're
would see would
basing
be-
that on. I mean, we haven't had any kind of argument between the two of them in the past.
Ever?
No. I mean, Adam, they're sharing Rand. They got over one of the more difficult things that
They're not sharing Rand anymore.
Oh wait, no, they're
No.
Oh, she's not. That's right.
They're not sharing.
But she is sharing. But Elayne is sharing Rand with somebody else. So if
Two
she can
other
get
somebody
past
else's.
if she can get past that, what makes you think that she would have
things
something?
to talk about that later. But
that she would have something.
I'm intrigued.
I don't know. That's
it should have been my Willow. But.
I think that. I mean, I can see there being. I would have thought there would have been problems before this, but now especially that she's subjugated to Egwene, I don't see there being issues there. Now, what I see may happen is that we could have power struggles happen very soon if Elayne becomes the queen. Now we've got a queen who's an Aes Sedai subject to the head of the Aes Sedai, who's her friend, and that's going to be a weird dynamic.
That's what I'm talking about.
Elayne just acknowledged, though, that's what raised this in the first place. Was in her monologue, she acknowledges that as an Aes Sedai, she is subject to Tower law.
Right, but
she knows
she's still a human.
That this is going. Sure, but I mean, she is ultimately aware that she will be. I mean,
I think there's gonna. I don't think there's gonna be problems like Adam was saying, but I think there's gonna be. There's going to be some. I think there's going to be some natural struggle there.
I'm more concerned about the people of the country who don't really have a whole lot of choice in this.
That's great.
Yeah, I mean,
Eric is concerned about the common folk. I also am.
I'm not at all.
Yeah, that was very convincing.
No,
I flat out say I'm not worried about them.
In terms of this and of Elayne and Egwene, I just feel like. There's going to be a rift in this friendship. It's going to happen.
I don't believe that's going to happen.
All right.
I think with everything they've gone through,
that would certainly cause a problem for sure.
Right. I'm just foreseeing it.
That would be a huge problem.
I know. You could make another couple books about it.
You absolutely could.
Right.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. That would definitely
books,
be
yes.
That would definitely be a good plot point.
Egwene has soaked up a lot of knowledge under Swan. Swan's been instructing her very well on all this sort of stuff in terms of how they prepared for this whole thing that was going to happen here. I mean, they've been planning this out for a while. And Egwene knew the situation that was going to occur with Takema, or Takema, or however you pronounce her name. And she Taquitos, yes. Tacos, tacaritas. She was thankful and surprised that Takema didn't spill the beans and didn't reveal this whole second part of the law. And everything hinged on that going forward. So it's curious to me why she didn't. And I feel like it was just the simple matter of she wasn't asked.
No.
She was asked the first part.
Right.
And she didn't then say the second part because no one asked her to go on. Egwene specifically asked her and gave her the route of, tell me this.
Right.
And only this.
But remember that up to this point, the reason why Egwene was nervous is because she is a follower of either Romanda or Elayne. So
Takema is?
Yes. So I can't remember which. I want to say it's Romanda.
I'll tell you in a second.
So Egwene is okay. So Egwene is surprised because she absolutely has the ability to continue on, and when she chooses not to, if that's what we're going with is what happened there, which I'm totally fine with. Why doesn't she?
Right.
Like, what is the motivation there to do that?
And I feel like it's maybe even though she's under Elayne's control, she is still part of the tower and wants the right thing to be done. And maybe she believes this is it, maybe not. I don't know, but it's all we've got to go on.
It could be a moment of confirmation that of the legitimacy of Egwene's rule.
Yeah.
If that's in fact what happened.
Yeah, right. Right. If it is, I don't know.
She is relying on a lot of subtlety in order to gain control of the wheel of this mechanism. Well, yeah, it's.
I'm very curious to see where it goes from here.
It's been working out. We will. Well, right. I'm
it
curious.
Seems like just rolling the dice.
Right. Yeah. She did.
She took a risk a big risk, and she knew it.
Not only her, but
she's taken a couple of big risks up to this point. I'm interested to see how she continues to consolidate power, because she's still, like, to your point, Adam, she's still on uneven footing.
I want a further smackdown.
Yeah, yeah, that would be nice, since the last one we got didn't really result in very much. She's still battling with with Romanda and Elayne.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like she got a little bit of a leg up.
Yes, it's an inch at a time. She's not making huge leaps here.
Agreed.
All right, let's move on to Seanchan of the Dead.
Seanchan of the Dead.
So, do we think
bring out your Seanchan?
They're fleeing. They're fleeing Ubudar. The Seanchan are on the run.
Yes.
Now we know that there are still Seanchan to the east, or to the west, sorry. So they're still around on the continent, but Rand has landed a huge blow to these people.
Yeah, I mean, and everyone thinks they've lost.
Has he? Yeah.
Yeah, he has. He drove him back.
I know, but I'm still worried.
What are you worried about?
I don't know.
You should be worried. Rand just killed a whole bunch of his own people because of his arrogance. Yeah, I'm worried about the Seanchan too. They're like cockroaches, man. They keep coming back.
Well, they do wear armor that looks like bugs.
I wasn't even thinking about that, but yes.
Yeah, they could be crickets.
Yes, they're the fighting
crickets. Crickets.
It's a very popular mascot amongst sports teams.
Have you ever had a cricket in your house?
They suck.
In your apartment?
Sure.
Yes.
They suck. They get in there and they defend themselves
and they're loud.
How do they defend themselves?
By throwing their
Damane and
noise.
Suldam?
Yeah.
Yeah. They're like, hey, I'm more powerful than I am. Because I thought that they would be...
Unless they're by
they would not get... I just didn't think they would get pushed back this season. Whatever. I guess that's a conversation.
Well,
that's
conversation.
I just didn't think they would get pushed back this easily. I hope that they don't.
You hope they
they come back.
Well, I mean, they have.
I know, but just in terms of...
I hate them. I hate everything about them.
I do too, but I thought they would be a little more powerful than being pushed
well,
back this soon.
were not. They were so. I believe they were so used to a certain form of battle that they were completely. And no one's fought like Rand has fought before with traveling in these gates and appearing here and appearing there and just popping in and out. So they were completely caught by surprise. So they just said, "Let's go with the straightforward attack." And before they could get to the straightforward attack, Rand uses Kalendor and kills a whole bunch of them and a whole bunch of him. And then, by the way, no one can channel reliably. So their most important weapon they rely on the most. And you would think this would be a learning lesson, but I don't think it's going to be a learning lesson for them. You would think to rely less upon your stupid Suldam and Damane, more on your thousands and thousands of soldiers. But no.
Well, remember
they have to show up again, though, right?
What was that?
They have to show up again, though. They're not going to get wiped out.
Yeah,
here.
I know. I'm sure they're just going to consolidate. And bring
remember,
more of their
there's still Seanchan on the continent. I led this off by saying they're on the west coast.
Yeah, where's that stupid town that we?
Remember they invaded Amadisha.
Yeah, so there's a whole bunch more elsewhere.
Yeah.
With Suldam and Damane who aren't sick, so maybe they just go around Ebudar or whatever it is.
I'm not sure there's a lesson to learn about using the one power. They
should, though.
Whatever's going on in this area is an anomaly and not expected at all.
Right.
And the Suldam and Damane don't want to tell anyone else because this society is such that you're just going to get blamed and killed.
Not only that, they're so reliant on them.
The other question, speaking of people who should share some blame here, if Suroth knows that Rand is using gateways to travel the armies around, when did she know this? Because if she knew this ahead of time, why didn't she tell her generals that this would be happening?
And once again, how does she know? How she knows is really important. But
my only guess is that she learned this information just moments before she shared it.
That could have been, and
it doesn't seem that way though.
Once again, maybe her generals are going to ask her, "How do you know this?" And then she'll just stone face it because I'm the High Lady Suroth and eat it, you know.
Yeah.
But
This seems to be
kind of important information.
Yeah.
But how would they?
So this
but
is
even
my
if
first
they
time
knew, how would they
reading-
defend
This is my
against it?
first time reading this. It was very confusing to me.
It is confusing.
What's confusing?
Well, in terms of that, it seems like she was questioning something herself or had to prove something, and
Well, she failed last time around.
right. So I thought she was bigger than this.
She's a little bit on the hot seat.
She's not bigger than failing and getting fired, which in Seanchan means dying.
Or
right.
demoted.
I thought she was. I thought she was.
Well, Adam, I'm glad you have a high opinion of her and I have a low opinion of her, and mine wins.
You thought she was what?
I don't have a high opinion of her. I thought she was high enough to overcome.
Well, realize we're dealing with the two most powerful
mistake.
forces in the world.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
And Rand just proved to be stronger in this instance by sheer happenstance.
You mean politically? You mean you thought that she was high enough
Right.
up to politically overcome a mistake?
Right.
I'm not sure that such a position exists in Seanchan
Well, we don't know.
outside of the princess.
She may survive.
I don't
this.
know that. Yeah, I don't know
Well,
that. So
survive,
I'm just saying
maybe.
yes. Now I'm learning from it. And
She might not even be demoted for this for all we know.
Well, remember
It seems
she's
like
she's a
failed
cockroach.
once.
It seems
She
like she's
survives.
going to be bound in a
I hope so. I really
cabbage
do.
patch.
I hope she ends up in the cabbage patch as a lowly cockroach.
Where
Crawling
is
around.
Matt?
Still buried
Well,
under
here's
stone.
No.
Yeah, didn't
No,
we
he's
say that
not.
last time?
Yeah,
Wasn't
we did.
that-
We did say that he's buried under
we did-
rubble.
we
He-
said that
I
last
was
time.
willing to believe he was buried under rubble last time, but remember that there have been days since then.
Agreed, but we all know how these books work, and I'm sure we'll go back to Matt back in time.
Oh, well, of course
No,
we will.
Matt's gonna
But-
meet High Lady Surath, and they're gonna
He's gonna be
fall in
shacking
love.
up
That's
with-
what's
I mean-
gonna happen.
Where are these Seanchan retreat? My guess is that Matt has been
Under
captured
rocks.
by these people and is retreating with them.
I think maybe he's hiding healing from his wounds from the
Well,
collapse.
I mean, he would have had to have the whole army would have had to have marched past him and then totally ignored the ruins under which he had fallen for days. And remember, they're occupying the space. They didn't just move in and move on.
How much rubble do you think is in that town? A whole lot. They destroyed a whole lot of it. I don't think they're going sifting through piles
got
of
to
rubble.
emerge eventually, and the
Then
Seanchan
he goes
person
and
would
hides.
see him. Yeah, but
This is Matt we're talking
they're
about.
in the city. Yeah, well, okay, they'd be relying on a lot of coincidences.
That's Matt's whole thing.
It's
Luck.
That's true.
I hope he's
I would
not
like to know.
captured.
I would like to know where he is.
I mean, I'd like more of him and less of Perrin, so,
Right.
and quite frankly, less of Rand.
Oh, yeah, always, Dave.
Well,
Always.
at least lately, which I think brings us
Perrin.
into our next section, isn't
No.
getting Rand?
Lastly, I want to finish with. Does anybody have an idea on how those rockin' message polls work?
Wow, this is obscure.
We
No.
have
They hang upside
No,
down.
I don't.
right.
The guy drops down underneath the rock and with this pole, and someone hooks it and grabs
right.
it.
So
somehow.
it's a huge. It is a pole that is in sections
Yeah.
that they assemble and then
telescopic?
push. No. It has hinges, I believe,
Telescopic.
and they push it up and it goes hundreds of feet into the sky.
Oh, you think it's that? I thought that rock and
It's
dropped
going
down
above
lower.
the tree. They do drop down lower because they fly way up. It's
Yeah.
above the tree line.
You think the
So
trees are
it's a
hundreds of
big
feet
cat-
in the air?
No,
It's
it's
a
not hundreds of feet. No,
big-
it's probably like
10, 20, 30?
yeah, probably 30 or
still a
40
tall
feet
pole.
into
This
the
is- you gotta be
sky.
pretty
Are you
accurate.
saying a pole vault? It's a pole vault?
That'd be
No.
impressive, but no.
No,
Just a pole. They're
it's
sticking
a
a
huge.
pole
It's
up in
a
the air.
huge pole that they have to assemble and then push up into the air.
And these rockins somehow have really good aim, or the guy on the ground's got really good aim.
yeah, they have. Well,
Sweet.
they've been very well trained. They're basically acrobats.
If one thing we've learned about
Who
the
can
Seanchan,
fly.
they are very well trained.
right.
Very true. Very true.
I just thought I was fascinated by the whole thing because they have to like carry that
How
thing
is
around.
that not your Willow moment?
No, because it's not.
It's like you've
wasn't as
snuck in a
fascinating.
I
secret
thought they
second
were
Willow.
running up. They're
Eric
running up.
snuck
the
in
pole,
a secret second
Yeah.
Willow.
They're running up it, right?
No,
No.
no. They
What are they,
they fly
chimpanzees?
by. It gets hooked on and it
Oh.
falls to the ground.
Scampering up the pole.
right. Okay. Well,
But then they have to bring
people
the pole
scamper-
down to
Yeah.
put the
True, they
message
do.
on it and then push it up.
Adam, we're not,
They
we're
are
not climbing
kinda
the rope in
scampering
gym
over
class
it.
here.
Well,
Maybe.
Get Randy.
Oh boy!
No, we're changing the name. I told you going forward.
You can't. We can't. Unfortunately,
we are changing it to whatever it is that I said we need to change it to.
Please make your case though, because
so he's not fun and Randy free anymore. He's
been
maudlin and depressing and killing his own people.
Yeah.
And now he's terrified of displaying weakness in front of anyone.
Yeah, which is what
he was so desperate to have him back in his head.
Yep, that is what Cadsuane definitely.
What's her name?
Sororlia.
Yes, there it is. Starts with an S. Good call. I say well held.
The other strange thing that we learned through this was that the names of slain women in Rand's head are no longer consciously put there. They just appear there now when women die.
Not only that, there's names being added to it that shouldn't be added to it.
Well, that's how we learn this, is that Phila gets
so annoying.
The Damane gets added to his list, and he didn't even want to add her.
And so did what's her face, who hung herself.
Colavir. Well, he felt sort of guilty about
shouldn't.
that. He shouldn't, but he did. So that's not as surprising as this Damane who gets added, and he's shocked by it. He doesn't want the name to be there.
Stuff's getting out of control, man. It's getting out of control. The names are accumulating.
Yeah.
It's exhausting. Rand is exhausting me.
Yes, for sure. It's
really sad.
He's exhausting everyone else around him. Poor Bashir, man, has to deal with a guy who gives advice that won't listen to him.
Yeah, but fortunately for Bashir, he
just has a few of his troops die.
He's comfortable with he's on pretty close even footing with Rand. He's not afraid of telling Rand the truth.
No, and thank goodness for that. It's that Saldean mindset, kind of like Perrin's wife. Oh wait, that's his daughter.
In that case, though, she's just telling Perrin what to do. In this case, he is telling Rand the truth.
What he should do.
Rand isn't at a lack of things to do.
Oh, Rand. I don't like... Rand is like a sine wave in these books. He's just... We keep getting the really cool highs that we're excited about, and then the crashing, crushing lows like this chapter. This last chapter was just a lot.
Yeah, it is.
A lot of Rand especially.
I feel like it's just another Dumais Wells. It just goes on for more days.
No, that's not what I mean. I mean, Dumais Wells ended on a good note for Rand. This has ended on a horrible note for Rand.
Why?
And he killed his own people.
Well, okay.
No, there's no well.
No, that's true. But
I mean, that's
Rand wasn't
as bad as it gets.
Rand wasn't thrilled about killing anybody. I mean, he just killed a lot of people, and he's not,
I don't think Rand was affected at all by how many people he killed up to this point. And I quite honestly don't.
Hasn't Rand been talking about killing his own people, though, or predicting it?
Not that
it's going to happen.
Oh, he's talking about killing himself.
I don't think so.
But I'm far more concerned with this. Did we get any inclination that Rand felt bad about doing this with Kalendor? I don't think we got any inclination of that at all.
Well, unfortunately, what I feel from Rand is what he's just thinking about Lews Therin. So he's just concentrating on if he's in his head or not. That's how I feel about what he's thinking about the most.
Do you think that has an effect on whether or not he has any remorse for this situation?
I feel like he's losing it.
Yeah, right. I mean, that might be it. Legitimately, he's just so distracted by...
Well, he's definitely crushing under the weight of his cause.
He's but in terms of remorse, I feel like he's...
That's what I'm concerned about.
Yes, he's absolutely being crushed.
I'm concerned
I still think that he's prone to being remorseful.
You think he's remorseful? Okay.
You don't.
I don't know what to think about him.
Right. I don't know what to think either. I don't know that the chapter left me with a good enough understanding of whether he was remorseful or whether he was kind of like, all right.
Well, he stopped. Remember,
he got knocked to the ground. He could have.
Well, right, because it was that awareness that prevented him from getting back up on the horse and doing it again.
Right. I don't know that we have any indication that he's sorry for what he did.
Well, wouldn't not continuing to do it be an indication?
Why not? They're not the same thing. Because you got your master general saying, you're killing our people.
Yeah.
And by saying that, you're saying, we kind of need our people. You can't kill our people.
Right.
And Rand could look at it simply as a function of...
Okay, so
necessity.
It is an indication that you're sorry. You're just saying it's not necessarily an indication that you're sorry for the people. You're sorry for the reduction of your power that it's led to.
Right.
Okay. I'm not there with Rand yet. I think that my guess is that he's remorseful. I don't know that remorse prevents him from doing this again.
Right, which is obviously hugely problematic.
Well, it's what...
Yeah, no, I feel like he does feel remorse that he uses... he uses
I don't think
power,
we've just... Unfortunately, I don't feel like the chapter ended with enough information for us. Maybe we'll get it in the next chapter. Maybe we'll get Rand will be like, I'm a... moron. I've killed my own people.
It's so strange to me that Rand has been introduced to these 3 girls that are his love interests, and he is changing so dramatically.
I think what's happening with that, the only person that has seen it the most has been Min.
Min is the only one, but they had a little bit of...
I'm curious.
So are you saying this is going to be a problem for them when he reemerges in their lives?
No, I don't. I just think it's interesting. I just felt like it was a little bit interesting that
why wouldn't it
these
be?
three girls. Oh, it should be, but I feel like it's interesting that these 3 girls are just tied to him, and they have barely spent any time with him, and he's changed so dramatically.
Well, that's what I'm saying. He keeps up and down, up and down.
He's changed so dramatically even since last book with Min.
Right. So what do you think is going to happen when he reemerges in these women's lives?
I don't think it's going to
I feel like maybe we're going to be introduced with 3 other women that are just going to be the other ones. I don't know.
I feel like
Plan B.
I really hope.
What else are you writing about? Yeah.
I really hope that he gets more of these women back in his life, because he needs something.
Well, don't we need to hope that Cat Swain and Sorley succeed in whatever it is they're doing, despite
I don't want to hope anything
how
with
little
Cat
we
Swain.
Enjoy them.
I would much rather put my faith in these girls who have a vested interest for the right reasons, not their own machinations and plots. I don't know what Sure, we've got what she's telling her. He needs to laugh and
No,
cry
I understand
again.
why you would be suspicious of Cat Swain. I'm suspicious of Cat Swain, but I think
I'm sure she's trying to do the right thing. In massive quotes there, but I also think that all 3 of the girls love Rand. And they want to do the right things in that, not just for them, but for him also.
Sure.
As opposed to Cat Swain, who wants to do the right thing because it's what she thinks is the right thing.
Right. Well, what she thinks is the right thing for the world.
And I really hope these girls get reintroduced back soon, most especially Min. Because
I just want them to get to know him again and see what's going on with them.
Right, and I don't think it's going to be good.
It doesn't seem like a good
No, it doesn't seem that way at all.
Yeah.
What exactly happened to Egan Padros? Who did he take money from that he decided to fire that arrow off at Rand?
He was probably a dark friend.
I mean, you were. Oh, I don't think so.
Think
I
so,
think.
Or
I think.
was just
I mean, if he was a dark friend, then he wouldn't need to be paid.
Just collecting money.
I mean, dark friends still get paid.
Well, how do you know? Why are you assuming?
Why
are you assuming that there's?
I'm fairly certain we've seen examples of. Because
do they get paid with cash, or do they get paid with promotion?
If dark friends just get paid, then there's no point. The whole point in them upending his pockets.
They're not mutually exclusive. You can be a dark friend and get paid by someone who's not a dark friend.
Yeah, but if he's a,
you can get paid by.
I get what you're saying. First of all, one could argue that anybody that shoots an arrow at Rand is a dark friend. Okay, so setting that aside, I think that
I didn't think it was a dark friend.
I don't think he is a dark friend in the terms that we think of a dark friend. And I think that I think somebody gave him a lot of money. And I think he wasn't a big fan of Rand's to begin with, probably.
I mean,
and that's evidence also that there are dark friends in Rand's camp.
We're assuming that money even came from the fact that he was supposed to shoot at Rand. It might not have. He might have just had that money.
Remember, a writer doesn't just put things in that are simply random. You put things in for a purpose.
Does,
but that's not the whole purpose of it. Was to show that he got paid, that he was a paid assassin.
So the question is, was he paid by one of the Illianers? No, I don't think the Illianers. One of the Tyrans or one of the Karyenin who hate Rand?
Might have just been him.
I mean, he probably...
Lyramon, for example? Who knows?
He probably got paid by a dark friend. So I think if nothing else, it puts us on edge and demonstrates that there are dark friends in Rand's camp.
I mean, I think we have no willing to take a shot at him. That they are. The bigger indicator to me was this whole, how did she know? How did Suroth know about Rand's traveling?
Yeah. And, I mean, we already talked about the fact that
told her.
Rand is suspicious, and now he's got this.
Yeah.
It's going to get worse.
Yeah.
His paranoia.
Well, he's dead, so.
Rand's not dead.
No. The guy.
No.
Rand's out. He's dead now
he's
out of Rand's
dead.
mind.
I mean, they can easily just pay somebody else.
Someone else, yeah.
Who was your Coplin of the week, Adam?
Coplin.
Rand.
It's a good pick, man. It's a good pick.
Rand. Just miss him.
You're getting sick of... You miss Rand and you don't like him.
It's weird. I miss Rand, but he's got a rough path, I suppose, but he was really annoying.
Yeah, he was extremely annoying.
Yeah.
Extremely, extremely annoying.
I don't like being around him. I don't want to read his storyline. Yeah. He's a prickly pear.
He was.
Yeah.
Is a prickly pear, yeah.
We've gotten to that point. I mean, we're about at the midway point or a little beyond in this story now. And it feels like things have ramped up so much that, there's just very few people who are likable. Everybody's...
Oh boy, that's true. Well,
Rand's
I got one that is.
Rand's well, right. I mean, Rand's being smashed under the weight of what he's being asked to do and what he's trying to do. He's lost perspective, obviously, partly because he won't surround himself with anybody he cares about because he's worried about them being hurt. So none of them are around. The only people that he has around are people he can use. And so he's just turned himself into a machine, and it's a definite problem, and it's a problem that several people have noticed, and we can only hope that they're successful in turning that thing around. Mine was Wyramon. I'm sick of this dude. I've had enough of him. I also think it's really weird that he was assigned to guard Rand's front or Rand's back.
Wyramon?
Yeah. And what do you know? The Seanchan just come careening through there.
Somehow just pound through. Yeah.
Careening.
The guy is,
Caridi. They Caridi through.
He's nothing but trouble for Rand. And at first it seemed like, he's just really arrogant and dumb. And now it's starting to seem to me that it is part of some sort
intentional
of plot. Yes.
Could be.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yep.
Rand never really liked the guy to begin with, so I don't know that it's going to be that big of a problem, but screw that dude. All right, Dave.
Not a fan.
Mine is Ramonda.
Sure.
She won't stand for the greater consensus because she is so embittered
Snooty.
towards Elayne.
And bitter, yeah.
It's so ridiculous.
Yeah, she's spiteful.
I mean, I don't even need to say anything more.
Opinionated.
It's just
very opinionated.
She's they're terrible people.
Yeah, they're more interested in their own well-being than they are in the organization.
They're more interested in spiting each other than anything.
Yeah, they've confused themselves with the institution and don't realize that the institution is greater than they are, and they think that they are the institution. And that's always a problem.
No.
Who leveled up? Adam.
Bashir.
Which one?
Bashir? Which one? He's got two of himself?
Which one?
No, there's his daughter.
Oh, right. Well,
his wife.
No.
None of them are in these chapters.
Yeah, no. Just a solid guy.
Darvin.
It seems like he has his head on his shoulders, unlike anyone else.
Yeah. He saves his people, right? I mean, if Rand had gone on, continued to go on, wouldn't they have all died?
Yeah.
It seems like
possibly.
Yeah.
Or certainly a lot more people would have.
I mean, Rand was
didn't seem aware at all.
Yeah, he'd pretty much lost himself at that point. Now, a lot of that had to do with the craziness that's going on with the one power in the area.
Right.
Which is also a major character of its own in these chapters.
Right. That should be my level down. But yeah.
Yeah, he's huge. He is one of the likable ones. For sure.
Exactly. That's why I'm leveling him up. I like that guy, and he also has.
Now, we didn't so much like him when he introduced Perrin to his wife.
No, that's true.
So part of the reason he's likable is we don't spend a lot of time with him. Maybe if we spent more, we wouldn't like him as much. But here, he's a hero, right? For sure.
Yep, absolutely.
Mine's Narishma.
Oh, okay.
He somehow, without enough information from Rand, whatever that information might be that we don't know about, that Rand kind of poo-poos, he gets into the Stone of Tyr, through all the traps, gets out Kalendor, brings it back, and then fights in the battle. For all that about it, I like him. I like him more and more. And then he has to deal with Rand's scorn and criticism and overall dour self.
Legendary, Dave. Good choice.
Narishma, he and who's the other one that I always confuse him with?
Dashiva?
Dashiva. Yeah, exactly. I always confuse those two names and those two characters. What Rand did to him in going and getting Kalendor, because remember, that's what he did. What Narishma did was go to the Stone of Tyr and undo all the traps that Rand had set.
He had to undo the wards.
Yeah. And when he says you didn't give me enough information and I almost killed myself, it's because Rand didn't tell him all the info about the traps.
Right. Maybe there was one that he forgot, or
no, it's not one he forgot. Rand thinks to himself that he didn't do it not out of neglection, but out of he didn't want to reveal everything that he knows.
It's
what the heck, man?
It's either terrible leadership or craziness or all sorts of not good things.
I will go with Egwene.
Sure. Yeah. I'm glad someone picked her.
I mean, she moves. She's
strategery.
Yeah, I love watching some of these laid plans that we're not privy to come to fruition.
This is that scene where she kind of gives him a little bit of their comeuppance is another one of my favorite moments in this book series. Just
Elayne and Romanda?
Yeah, Elayne, Romanda, and Elayne. Just that whole scene there.
Yeah.
Because we've been waiting for, because she's been hinting at it. Now we can't wait. She keeps saying now is not the time. We got to wait. We got to be patient. And this is, I think, what they've been waiting for is for her to finally be like, here's the best laid plans, and we're finally able to do it.
Now the interesting thing is, I thought that she was going to, through different manipulations and machinations, slowly bring these people under her wing through essentially psychological warfare. Instead, what she does is she uses Robert's rules, basically.
Tower law.
She uses their law. Right, it's not Robert's rules because it's not the process. Right, but she uses old ancient law to basically make herself into a I wanted to say tyrant. It's not
dictator,
tyrant. A dictator.
Perhaps.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes. She now she's not a total dictator,
right,
because anything domestic, the house and the sitters still have a voice, but even she would tell you she's going to work her hardest to make just about any issue fall under the operations of the war, and they're to move on Tar Valon in a month. So everything they do is preparing for war. It won't be that difficult for her. But it's just interesting in how she has clapped her antagonists in these legal irons.
Right. It's so specific and so nuanced that only a Tower law scholar would have known this.
Right. So she had to have gotten it from Swan.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, we have to know that that's where it's come from, and they've been preparing for this for a while, and it'll be interesting to see what we learn more about this in our next 6 chapters. So join us for episode 23 when we cover chapters 25 through 31 when we wrap up the book. Until then, may you rest in the Creator's hand.
May you know good hunting, young bull, and cheese to give you many cubs.
Doviende se tovias again.